Tom Hanks was involved in a skit where he just mocked MAGA voters. And I couldn't help but think, why?
You know what it reminded me of? I used to do a lot of stories on domestic violence, and I got to know a lot about how it works. And it reminded me of an abuser who goes back to a woman and puts on the mask. I'm charming. I'm totally loving. I will never hurt you. You can trust me. I get you. We're together. We're a partnership. But then as soon as the woman does something, could be anything, to set him off, the veil comes down and you realize this has been someone pretending.
Megyn Kelly goes off on Tom Hanks, rightfully so. I don't know if you guys saw that SNL skit that he put out the other day, where he just completely made a fool of himself, but tried to make a fool out of us, aka MAGA supporters, anyone that supports Trump. And it's just super frustrating to see that these celebrities just haven't learned the lesson that some of us are half the country, more so of the country, are supporters of Trump. And so when you are attacking us, we're not going to want to go watch your movies or anything that you're involved in. But before we get into that, I want to remind you guys to subscribe to RTM News, because it ensures to YouTube that you're enjoying these videos, and then in turn they'll continually show up in your feed and they'll push it out to more people. I'm Titus. Let's get into this video.
Now, we're both of an era when the Oscars used to mean something because it was sort of one of those big showbiz events, and the Saturday Night Live 50-year reunion was sort of the closest thing to an award show. But then rather than just celebrating a TV show that you may have liked or loved or not really cared about for much of the past 50 years, they decided to very overtly do a you to half the country. Tom Hanks was involved in a skit where he just mocked MAGA voters. And I couldn't help but think, why?
You know what it reminded me of? I used to do a lot of stories on domestic violence, and I got to know a lot about how it works. And it reminded me of an abuser who goes back to a woman and puts on the mask. I'm charming. I'm totally loving. I will never hurt you. You can trust me. I get you. We're together. We're a partnership. But then as soon as the woman does something, could be anything, to set him off, the veil comes down and you realize this has been someone pretending. This whole thing that's been wooing me in has been an act. And oh my God, I was almost fooled. You know, thank God I saw the moment of reality. That's what that thing was to me, because Saturday Night Live hates conservatives. NBC hates conservatives. They've been doing programming that is anti-conservative, anti-Trump, pro-leftist causes in the open now for 12 years and beyond. I mean, I haven't really watched it with a political eye longer than that. And that on Sunday night, they tried to reel us in by just doing regular comedy that could appeal to anybody. Like, see, we're so fun. We've got all these big stars. So we're towing the line and we're going to make everybody love us and you can trust us. We're not going to be too political. We're going to be the kind of product that everyone can consume. And then the veil slipped. And it slipped because that's who they really are. And no one there thought there'd be a problem with that skit with Tom Hanks. No one said, oh God, is this beyond? Like, should we not? Because it's all the same left-wing echo chamber. So they decided to take one of the most beloved, most popular American actors ever, Tom Hanks, and put him in a Trump MAGA hat.
Tom Hanks at this point isn't really beloved by a lot of people in this country. Everyone that attacked, all these celebrities that attacked Trump have lost a lot of following, just because they don't realize, like she was saying, he was saying half of the country. Man, when you sit there and tell people that, belittle them and make them demean them and vilify them, and put them in this box, in this category, when you don't know who they are. We're all individualistic people, very complex people that have different lifestyles, different belief systems that vary, and maybe we're on the right side. But I'm sure we all disagree on things too. Maybe we agree with you on some things. They don't allow that. It's just, you're conservative, you voted for Trump and we hate you, and so we're gonna make you look, or try and make you look dumb, while ultimately making yourself look stupid. And it's frustrating because politics is so it shouldn't be the main thing that you focus on in relationships with people. With someone you're dating, yeah, of course that's very important. But with friends, you can have differing views, and when you're playing golf or playing basketball or going to do whatever, a fun activity, you're not sitting there talking about politics. You're talking about whatever it is you're doing. You're talking about the heartbreak you just went through. You're talking about some cool adventure you want to go on. We have politicized everything so much to where it's just, you're bad, I'm good. on each side, and that's just not how it is. It's super frustrating to see like that happening in our country, and I mean it's been happening for years. And if you're liberal, that's fine. Like you have every right to be so. And like even in like directors or writers in Hollywood, like you have every right to, with your artistic integrity, to talk about whatever it is you find valuable or important. But also they used to do it more tastefully, where it's like, okay, yeah, I disagree with that person's view, I disagree with the way they went about that in the storyline or whatever, but it was like they would be objective and they would try their best to bring a point of view that was opposing to theirs, and even if it ultimately was the wrong one at the end of the movie, just the way they did it was more tasteful, and like you were allowed to still cohesively live with people that have differing views than you. But nowadays it's like, nope, they just do these SNL skits or they do whatever, and they just trash and vilify the opposing side, and that's wrong. That's wrong. So she's about to go off, so stay tuned.
And put him down at the end on what they called Black Jeopardy, which is kind of like a joke that Black people don't watch normal Jeopardy, and so it's kind of like white Jeopardy. And he comes on Black Jeopardy, and the Black host comes over to shake his hand, and he recoils at the thought of touching a Black man, and doesn't want to shake the hand, and only does it when he's forced to by the very gracious Black host.
Well, thank you. Hey, now speaking of church, can I say something? If more folks went to church, we wouldn't be in this mess we're in now.
You know what? I agree with you, Doug. I'd like to shake your hand, sir. Here we go.
No,
Oh, no. It's just a handshake. Yeah, it's just a handshake. Yeah, all right. You're welcome at Black Jeopardy anytime.
All right. Well, thank you.
The veil was down, and we saw what they really think of all of us, not just MAGA, but anybody on the right. They think you're a racist. They think you're all the ists for all sorts of psychological reasons that we've.
I don't think they actually think you're a racist. I think they're just saying that so that they can propagate that and make other people, brainwash people. It's like, repeating the same thing over and over again. They're just trying to like literally manipulate your mind into thinking that, oh, well, if you are that racism and conservatism are synonymous, they go together hand in hand, and that's just, it's not true. But they think if they keep saying it over and over again, the masses will believe it, and a lot of people are stupid enough to do so. But obviously, I think with this alternative media, things have shifted, and I'm grateful for that.
Gone into and don't need to here, but there was that piece of it, and then there was how deeply offensive it was for Tom Hanks in particular to participate in this skit. Tom Hanks, who started off on this stupid show called Bosom Buddies, which I mean, maybe it was ahead of its time because it was about two men who dressed as women in order to get the living arrangements they wanted. So it was guys dressed, sort of in drag. And he was hilarious, and he was a nobody. And it was a stupid show that made us fall in love with him because he was so funny and bumbling. And then parlayed that into a film career with great films like Sleepless in Seattle, where he was a romantic lead, and Big, where he was a kid in an adult's body, and Philadelphia, where he was a big-time lawyer suffering from HIV/AIDS. Like all these amazing, Forrest Gump, which was seen around the world, and everyone said the same thing. I love Tom Hanks. I love Tom Hanks. And in thanks to a nation, of audiences that included those guys who look like that, with the t-shirt, without the sleeves, that are maybe a little rough around the edges, who aren't as coiffed as he is with the perfect 3/4 zip, sweater, with their MAGA hat on. And yeah, Tom Hanks, their Southern rural accent, you absolute snob, went to your movies and made you a billionaire. And your thanks to them is to mock and belittle them in the 2 minutes you had to portray what they might be like. Shame on you.
Shame on you. Honestly, I hate to see that because it's true. Like, as a very outspoken conservative, I've only ever voted Republican. I enjoy television. I enjoy musicians and artists like that are very left-leaning, and I'm allowed to differentiate. I can separate the two. Okay, this is their belief system. This is their art. This is what they're talented at. This is their gift that I enjoy consuming. It's not the other way around. And the fact that, I'm not a huge Tom Hanks fan. I liked Forrest Gump, I think, growing up, and I've never seen Sleepless in Seattle or You've Got Mail, but I've heard they're great and I need to watch them. He was Woody, and I loved the Toy Story movies growing up. But I was always able to, and the older I got, differentiate that. And obviously there was a time where it seemed as though Tom Hanks could, because Tim Allen is very conservative, and they were the two leads of the biggest childhood trilogy or quadruple, whatever you call it. It's like 4 movies now. The Toy Story franchise. It's like Tim Allen is very outspoken conservative. Tom Hanks is very outspoken liberal. They worked together for years. They seem to have gotten along. And I don't know what happened culturally to shift these actors or these people to think that they had to vilify the other side. It's shameful. It is, and we need to get away from that. And like, a joke is fine. Like, I don't mind a joke. If you're even trolling like MAGA supporters, like, that's not that big of a deal. But the way they've been doing it for so long, it's hard to take it as a joke, because it really has been, you're racist. It's not like, ha ha ha, it's a joke, you're racist. But they're not, obviously not. It's like, no, you think we are. Or not me, because I'm black, I'm not allowed to be. But you've ascribed all these things to people, making them seem like they're the enemy, when a lot of them are fans of you. That sucks. That sucks. But I agree with everything Megyn Kelly said. She's really she's been fired up this last few years, just exposing all the nonsense. And this isn't necessarily exposing anything. It's just bringing to light how they don't care, and how they think anyone who believes differently to them is bad, and that's wrong. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to comment down your thoughts below. I want to know what you guys are thinking, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.